Hey everybody, Jon Foss, and I'm talking with Nancy O'Dell about Sex Scandals Crime, which airs July 24th at 8 p.m. on Reels. Nancy, thanks for being here, and tell us what this show is all about.
Well, it takes an in-depth look at all the scandals that rocked the biggest names in the industry and how it all transpired. It was a confusing moment, I have to say, in the history. It was a moment in Hollywood I've covered for 26 years where I'm going, like, every day I'd come into work and I'd be like, what, who, today? What's going on tomorrow? And it would be just crazy, the amount of people who were taken down. And think about it, like two of the biggest names in morning television didn't have a job anymore. And it was just one of those shocking times in history that now is transpired into a movement that is going to affect all of us and the way that we are in our work. And now that we feel comfortable, if something happens to us and we feel like we have been wrong, you feel comfortable going to the HR department and saying, hey, this happened, and you know that it's going to be investigated, you know that it's going to be taken seriously. So it's really just changed our culture. But we start with the accusations against Harvey Weinstein, and we have one of his accusers who describes in detail what she says happened to her. We examine why, because there have been rumblings of things that Harvey Weinstein was alleged to have done in the past. So we examine why you didn't hear a lot about some of those things in the past and why it all seemed to happen. It was one period of time. And we examined that, and we kind of put it in a timeline for you, and up until today, how it all transpired, so that you can be able to explain to your kids, or you understand why now your workplace is different and why the world will be different from now on because of this moment in history where it was such a huge story in Hollywood and a huge story across the world, really.
How has professional life changed before all of this happened and now after all of this happened? Have things improved?
I think that everybody, including myself, can tell you a story, and that includes, we saw that men were brought into this conversation too when all this was taking place. So I think pretty much everybody has a story that they can say where they feel like something has happened in their workplace that was not necessarily right. So I think that I can say that in the past, there were certainly things that at my workplace that maybe I didn't feel comfortable going into HR and saying, like, listen, I kind of know that this was wrong, because maybe you felt like, I don't know if I'm going to be retaliated against. I don't know if they're going to think that that person is more powerful than I am. So is this really going to, should I be doing this or not? Nobody's going to feel like that anymore. I know if something were to happen to me in the future, I would feel okay with going right in there and saying something and knowing that, it's going to be investigated, because times have changed. Time is up, as they say. It's just a completely different time. And, for example, there's power in numbers. And by seeing after, the New York Times and the New Yorker came out with the articles where we heard from a lot of very prominent women where they claimed some of these incidents had happened to them. Alyssa Milano tweeted out that if you have been sexually harassed, then use the hashtag #MeToo. And when that hashtag was retweeted within 24 hours, 12 million times, and then within 48 hours, it went to over 82 countries. This is a global problem. This is, something that so many people they deal with. So it's something that now we can say, okay, hopefully the future is going to be better for our young kids. They're going to be working in a better workplace. And that's what this program examines, that you see how it transpired, this moment in history. We take you through a timeline, we explain it all, we show you something that you need to know, because this is going to affect you, it's going to affect your kids, it's going to affect your parents, it affects everybody. So we'll explain it all for you, we'll tell you how we got to where we are, and hopefully the future will be brighter out of, as Oprah said at the Golden Globes, hopefully we can take something positive out of something negative, or make something positive out of something negative.
When the infamous tape was leaked of the Access Hollywood conversation between now President Trump and your former co-host Billy Bush, there were lewd comments made, but there was also comments made about Nancy, and later it was revealed that they were talking about you. What was it like having that media spotlight on you, and just the emotions of going through that? And how have you gotten through that to be where you are today?
Yeah. that was a very strange period in my life, I have to say, because all of a sudden I was thrown into this, part of the presidential race, not expecting, and I'm so used to reporting on people, I'm not used to being a part of the story. So it was a very bizarre period of time for me. But what I said then still holds true today, that I don't think there's any room for objectification of women or anyone for that matter, anywhere. And again, this program shows exactly what I said back then too, is that I hope that our young kids, especially I have a 12-year-old daughter, I hope that as a mom that young girls know that they can be valued for their hard work and their achievements and their intelligence and their heart. And they know that that's what that's what will be noticed about them, that's what they will be, known for. And that's what everybody should feel like they're known for, and not for something else, and that's the most important thing for us to learn from that. I know that so many people, so many of our viewers reached out to me at that particular time, and I just know that it renewed my faith, and that we all want a better society. We all want a more inclusive society, and I think that is what you see when this whole the Me Too movement and the allegations against Harvey Weinstein came out after all that happened. But I think that's what you see from this whole Me Too movement, is that you see that we all want this, more, this better society, because you saw this, everybody joining together in numbers to make this change. And that's what's happening with this Me Too movement, is that there is change happening.
At this point in time, after being through all of that, would you still like to see your former co-host Billy Bush get another chance?
Listen, Billy and I had, when Billy and I worked together at Access Hollywood, I had any kind of beef against Billy. Billy and I think there were some reports and stuff that came out, but that was not true. Billy and I always had a good relationship. So I think that Billy has said himself that he has done a lot of work on himself, and he apologized. And I know that Billy has a lot of good sides to Billy, that is for sure. So I know he's got a good heart in there, so yeah.
All right, well, Nancy O'Dell, thank you so much. And Twin Cities, make sure you check out Sex Scandals Prime on Reels July 24th at 8 p.m. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you so much. Good to talk to you.